image of, say, a young girl screaming her lungs out and crying at a Justin Bieber concert might be described as pathetic and a bit embarrassing. But a young boy screaming and crying at a football game, that's the love of the game, and that's passionate, and that's community, and that's beautiful. The way that the world describes fangirls is kind of a microcosm of the subtly different ways that we deem the same behaviour unacceptable from young women when it's perfectly socially acceptable from young men. That to me is really, really interesting, and I wanted to unpick that. Action, go. I'm Eve Blake, and I've written the book, which is the scenes, the music and the lyrics for Fangirls. And I also am playing the protagonist, and her name is Edna, and she's 14. 5 years ago now, I met a 13-year-old girl who told me that she had met the man who she was absolutely going to marry. And she told me that his name was Harry Styles, which, if people don't know, he was in the world's biggest boy band, One Direction. So I laughed at her, and then she was like, "Don't laugh at me, I'm serious, because I love him so much that I'm gonna be with him, and I would slit someone's throat to do so." It kind of made me pregnant with curiosity about why she would say that and what fan culture was. And the show mirrors the journey that I had about understanding fangirls, which was going from like, this is weird, oh gosh, is this a bit scary? I don't understand this. Wow, there's more to this than I thought there was. Oh my gosh, this is amazing. Let's change the world. Like that's the, sorry about mic levels, I might have just peaked.
I was waiting for my life to begin.
So Fangirls is about Edna. She's won a scholarship to a very rich, fancy all-girls school. And the bad news is she doesn't really fit in. So Edna doesn't really have any friends left in the world, but she is in love with someone named Harry. The only problem is, so are 38 million other people. He's the biggest pop star in the world.
Nobody loves you like me.
So Fangirls is the story of Edna deciding to go on a quest to meet Harry at any cost and to make him know that she exists, and it has life-changing consequences for her.
I'm busy, Mom!
In this show, it's actually really, really fun to kind of bring into everything a kind of upspeak and like an authentic teenage girl energy.
Oh my God!
And it was really fun with the writing too, to try to really be faithful to that. Like, how do teenage girls actually express themselves?
There's definitely heaps of shouting, there's definitely really loud music and like thumping subs. I really like that because it's so unapologetic, and that's supposed to be what the whole show is. They're loving without apology, and they're screaming and singing loudly without apology, and the music is just like smacking you in the face without apology.
So in our show, the world's biggest pop star is a fictional character named Harry, and unbelievably, we were able to cast in that role Aiden, who was on The Voice last year and who's 18 and is just like disgustingly talented.
Got you walking side to side.
So our designer has made all of these pillows with his face on it, but that's not all. There's also these ones, all sweaty, sexy Harry, and whereabouts is the duvet? You see this? This is a whole bedspread of sweaty, sexy Harry that we have in our show. Also, to his credit, I mean, like, he's an 18-year-old boy and he's really awake. It was really inspiring, actually, how motivated he was by the feminist message of the show. Yes, it's a show about fangirls, but it's not just about screaming for a boy band. I really actually wanted to make a show about the lies that I feel the world tends to tell teenage girls about themselves. Like, for example, that their hotness is a measurement of how much they matter. For me, being a teenage girl, I just felt so anxious all the time that I could never possibly be enough for the world, and I didn't realize how powerful I already was when I was a teenager. And that's really the story of this show. You've got a bunch of young women who are just so fearful that they're not good enough, and they don't realize that they're already brilliant.
A lot of people in the team are quite young. A lot of us are sort of just figuring out what we're doing as we do it, and I think that also contributes to the vibe you walk away with, just like, what did I just watch and why do I want to watch it again?
You're on the backs of my eyelids, the folds of my brain. You ruin my life and you make my day.
I really think that it kind of shines through in the show. No one standing on that stage is having to be there on the terms of the establishment. It's our story, it's our work. When I was a teenager, the musicals I fell in love with were written by men, directed by men, American, with a largely white cast, and this show is none of those things. I really wanted to make the show that I wish that I was able to find when I was 14. I never in my wildest dreams could have imagined that my show would get put on with giant Beyonce screens. No way! It's very exciting. And look, there's a cutout of an actual pop star who's in my show.